Thank you very much. What a wonderful time I have had here in your country. I feel like I have a lot of new Scottish friends in the audience today. And I think some of my friends are going to have to help me out. Last night at the Caves, where they were specializing in regional food of Scotland and regional drink, and there was noise with the band playing. Some lady presented me with this small glass cylinder full of crushed, dried Scottish seaweed. So I'm not sure if I'm to put it on my potatoes or to roll it up and smoke it. So if I can get some advice from some of you on that front, I would most appreciate it. I had intended to take in part of your session yesterday, however my finance business got a bit in the way, and I discovered the speed of your internet service is somewhat challenging, and I thought to underscore that I would read my speech at the same speed of your internet. Thank you so much for the opportunity to join you today. So you get my point for that. I was introduced as Bob Thompson, but I would like to share with you that my actual birth certificate name is Robert Mackenzie Thompson, and 4 generations ago my ancestors lived somewhere here in Scotland, and I actually have no idea. However, I do know that I have Scottish blood running through my veins, and I am proud of that. In fact, I was speculating what would be the cause for my ancestors to make that decision to emigrate to Canada from Scotland. And I couldn't really decide why, except I thought perhaps they just decided to leave a cold, damp, rainy, overtaxed Scotland and move to a freezing, cold, snowy, overtaxed Canada. I wonder if California ever really dawned on them. You know, everyone in this room fills an important component of what promotes our world to a better place, the work of tourism. These efforts, such as the Scottish Tourist Alliance, really fulfill a very specific mandate: attract people to the destination, facilitate the enjoyment of visits, educate the world in all the beauty and unique offerings of this great country. While the economic benefits that are created out of tourism are notable and important, I also believe that tourism is a vital component in helping our societies around the world understand each other better, understand our different and our collective views, our histories, and promote the binding of fabric that can improve odds for peaceful coexistence. My homeland, Canada, is an enormous landmass stretching from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean and thousands of miles north to the Arctic. Despite its size, our history seems inadequately short when viewed against the history of Scotland, and particularly a city such as Edinburgh. Canada's early development as a society came from the harvest of beaver skins and pelts. The beaver, it's our national symbol, were harvested in huge numbers. The fur was shipped and processed in Europe and fed an insatiable appetite for fashionable hats in places like London, Paris, and Edinburgh. So that elegant hat in your grandfather's closet likely has a close connection to our rivers in Canada. The city of Calgary is located at the base of our massive Rocky Mountains. It's settled at the confluence of 2 rivers that receive their water out of the mountains, and usually a pretty good run of it in the spring. Our regional history, well, it's about wide open spaces, big cattle ranches, cowboys, Indians, whiskey trading, and lots of oil. And it was out of this backdrop that the Calgary Stampede was born 101 years ago, a Wild West show. Interesting, it was dreamed up by no other than a lonely New Yorker, a drifter that had a vision for a big Western cowboy celebration. Cowboys rode horses into town, competed in the rodeo, an Indian village was formed, a great parade was created, an exhibition of cattle, horses, and agriculture ensued, and it was a celebration of the West. Today, we underscore the cultural identity that defines our city of Calgary. When I travel around the world, quite often I will say, people will ask where I'm from, I'll say Calgary, and inevitably the remark is, oh, that's the Calgary Stampede. So we're pretty proud of the significant branding we've had on our city. As president, I'm most proud that our organization has persevered many challenging times and circumstances, and today we're strong, we're growing, we have an excellent brand reputation, and we consider brand our single most important asset to protect. Now each summer in July, the Calgary Stampede hosts over a 10-day period, approximately 1,300,000 visitors. So the citizens of Calgary put away the suits, they put away the ties, and they pull out the cowboy hats, the boots, the belts, the jeans, and we have one hell of a celebration. Productivity grinds to a halt, people are late, but everybody's in a good mood. When you go for lunch, you don't return. This is Stampede Week. There's also a marked increase in the birth of babies 9 months later. But I do have a slight caveat that I would like to address. I understand your country is heading to the polls for a referendum on the future relationship of Scotland to the United Kingdom. Now this is a topic quite close to my heart because our province of Quebec has had a desire to go its own way a number of times in our history. And the tagline that is used by advocates of Scotland remaining affiliated with the United Kingdom is very similar to our tagline in the Calgary Stampede. So this is a photo actually of the city after the floods hit, but 2 weeks before Stampede this year, everything was set. We call it Stampede 101. Ticket sales were extremely strong, following up on our 100th anniversary the year before. Parties were planned, massive large concerts were booked with international stars, and the show certainly was going to be a success. Well, Mother Nature laid different plans for us. In a matter of 2 weeks, it rained so hard in the Canadian Rockies, it was a deluge, and our west was dumped underwater. The 2 rivers surrounding our city and our event burst their banks, and we were deep underwater. Our park has a lot of facilities, trade facilities, a hockey dome for 20,000 people. They were all underwater. Downtown Calgary ground to a halt, businesses closed and neighborhoods were flooded. And we had no warning of this. It came in the middle of the night. And so it was a substantial shock. And in terms of even, I mentioned the closing of business, we estimate, we generate revenues of about $100 million a year. And the economic spin-offs of that to our region and our city are estimated to be north of about 400 million. So there's a lot of people that really count on the 10 days of Stampede for their businesses. And our park was underwater. We found fishermen who were found swimming in some lobbies of some of our significant buildings. And when the water receded, it leaves nothing but destruction and mud, as it did in our affected communities. Now I had to deal with this, and I had to ask the first question, is do we actually have the capacity to get this show up in 12 days? That was one question. Can we actually drain, clean, and host this in a safe manner to 1.2 or 3 million people? But it also begged another question, and that is, should the Stampede go ahead? I was faced with this ethical dilemma. There was a lot of neighborhoods, people suffering, personal loss, and we were determining whether we were going to go forward to have a big, happy, fun celebration. So it was a bit of reflection on what the right move to do for that. And I think I took a bit of a chance, I guess, in my mind, and I thought, 12 days from now, these people maybe will mentally absorb their thought of what their losses are, and perhaps the Stampede, we could be the beacon of hope and a beacon of light to raise up the community that is hurting so badly. And we got an answer from the community as well. I got a tremendous amount of support. We're a very heavy corporate head office city because of the oil and gas business. We got offers of equipment, utilization of employees, and a range of other support mechanisms that the community said, if you need us, we're there for you. But our brand, the Calgary Stampede brand, was riding off 100 years of success, and we were going to be tested. We had never canceled a Stampede through 2 wars, a depression, and I'm proud to say we've now lived through 2 wars, a depression, and a flood. With 12 days to open, we mobilized with a vengeance, 24 hours per day, not 1 hour to waste. We brought in, within 1 day, significant contractors with experienced crew and equipment, generators, dozers, pumps from across Western Canada, and deep into the US. And you have to keep in mind that our province and the region around Calgary, because of the oil and gas business, we know a lot about heavy equipment, and so it's in our access germane, and that was quite helpful. We do sit on massive reserves of oil and gas. In fact, we have more than the Middle East in total. So we do understand this business. We started off by draining all of our buildings with huge industrial pumps and putting the water right back into the river that was still high, but generally beginning to recede. And we didn't allow any of the public, even our volunteers. We have 2,000 volunteers. It takes about 5,000 people to put on the Stampede each year. For 12 days, it was a rather incredible human force of effort towards a large-scale recovery. It was the essence of community. I'm frequently asked, was there a specific meeting or an acute moment in time where a go, no-go decision was made? And the answer was no. It was tenacity and resilience, and it's in the Stampede's DNA, and it's in Calgary's DNA, and in the province of Alberta. We have a can-do attitude. It's bred into us from our ranching and our cowboy roots, and it's the same tenacity that's been the hallmark of the history of the citizens of this great country. Rebuilding in 12 days was going to be for the citizens of Calgary. Canceling the show would have been a defeat and would have further dampened our mood at the time. And we wanted to tap into the rising resilience of our city. And I held a press conference about 4 days into the cleanup on a hill overlooking the entire park, and there's hundreds of media there. And my concluding words were that this show will go ahead, come hell or high water. And it did. And that triggered an explosion. We produced 200 of those shirts to sell. We were going to give the money to the Red Cross donations, and we ended up selling over 170,000 of them within about 7 days. So we bought every black shirt and screen maker from we could find, and so we were very proud to be able to donate money to the Red Cross Relief. When I reflect upon our recovery under these circumstances, I conclude really two drivers of success. One was attitude, determination, tenacity, a desire that come hell or high water, we will not be overcome by these circumstances, and we will rise up for our citizens. The second was in the execution. This was an exercise where bureaucracy was not invited to the party. Bureaucracy is the ultimate impediment to getting things done. And in the case of the Stampede, our emergency crisis team worked around the clock, making one decision after another, constantly realigning priority items, no memos, no approvals from the superiors, no small chatty meetings. It was get down, cowboy up, and get the job done. There's a hurt community that needs an uplift, and we're gonna be the ones to get this job done. And when we opened our door, the sun came out, the rivers receded, and I was astonished to think that we had well over 1 million come through our gates and had a tremendous time. So in closing, I would like to thank you very much. This has been a tremendous, meaningful trip for me, and your hospitality and your city and everything you stand for is wonderful, and the world should all have a chance to come to Scotland, and I know you'll see me back again for sure. And I know if my mother and father were alive today, they'd be so proud that their son was speaking in the motherland of our family, and for that I am grateful. And it goes without question that if you ever grow tired and looking and experiencing beautiful lands and surrounding Scotland, you're welcome to put away your kilts and bagpipe hats, your bagpipes, stick on a cowboy hat, and come and visit us at the Calgary Stampede. Thank you.